Cancer. In this introduction, Cancer's SU, which focuses on the vowels in her name, is 6. 6's color is blue. Then there is her outer expression, or OE for short, which only focuses on the consonants in her name. It is 2. 2's color is orange. Lastly, her FN, which includes all the letters, or to make things easier, sums her OE and SU. This FN is 8. 8's color is magenta. And now on to her SU, which is short for Soul's Urge. As mentioned above, it is 6. The sign does share many of the characteristics with 6. Her name, perhaps even more so, has numerous strengths. Firstly, she, when she is thinking things through, senses the big picture. Secondly, she is great when it comes to interior design. She has a natural ability to be creative when it comes to minute visual details. Thirdly, when she learns some empathy, she does well leading projects. Unfortunately, 6 also has several weaknesses. She is an intellectual number. This frequently leads to 2 major problems. Firstly, she can lack empathy. Secondly, she is a perfectionist. The second one causes her to care too much about a singular detail rather than on getting things done badly first and perfecting them later. Plus, when she gives in to dread, she becomes overly bossy. Her third weakness, mentioned earlier, is when she does not engage in creativity. Rather, creative activities, or she gets hung up on details, which leads to her falling into the depths of despair. How much of the above applies to Cancer? Cancer is moody. She is tied with Pisces for being too overly emotional. However, she differs from 6 because she is more likely to do as she pleases. Yet much like 6, she loves being visually creative. There are numerous Sun in Cancer people who have a great fondness of making their homes visually pleasing. Also, much like 6, she can be quite bossy and vindictive. There are also numerous times she gives way to anxiety or doom and gloom. This causes her to use others to do what she originally planned. Furthermore, all this describes how she connects with her own soul. When she follows these stirrings and learns how to go with the flow, then SU6 goes from cursing her to being a blessing. She comes alive. And now on to Cancer's outer expression, or OE for short. Her OE is 2. As was mentioned in another video on 2 and Taurus, 2 is the gateway between Cancer, amongst other beings, and her spirit. She, thanks to being a water sign, is intuitive and at the mercy of her environment. Plus, when her actions show how she knows what to do, despite her initial protestations, then it becomes clear she does seek harmony with others and her environment. Much like 2, she is outspoken about treating others fairly, but only when others treat her as an equal. On top of all this, just look around at your Sun and Cancer neighbors. How many of them have gardens growing outside or enjoy hikes through parks? Cancer's full name, or FN for short, is 8. Even though 6 is an intellectual number, she spends much time being anxious and emotional, whereas a 2 and 8 are both full-time emotional numbers. Perhaps all this explains why Cancer ranks up there with Pisces for being the most emotional of the 12 signs. 8 and Scorpio share the same color, magenta. Both Scorpio and Cancer have a tough shell to protect their emotions. This is the probable reason why 8 has magnetic charisma. Even before she has accomplished one deed, her gaze speaks of authority. The same is frequently true for Cancer, regardless of what planet or luminary is in her. Unlike Leo and the Sun, Cancer is the mother of the signs. Moms also demand authority. As a result of her FN being 8, she can accomplish other jobs than the stereotypical Cancer jobs. She can be an actress, plus she does well as a psychologist. Actually, both of these are true of her stereotype as well. Or if you prefer my earlier style of explaining things, 8's main strengths are her aura of authority, even when her only achievement is being born or reaching the age of maturity. She argues on behalf of her friends, and she loves to be generous with her friends, whereas her weaknesses include arguing with her friends, keeping her emotions hidden, and having too much or too many acidic, sarcastic remarks. It is up to you to become aware of her limitations to help her cultivate her strengths. This FN boasts numerous jobs. In the off chance Cancer or her followers become lawyers, they need to learn how to use their acidic remarks in favor of their clients. Just as actual acid restores a brilliant shine, in spiritual matters it can also translate a dull gray of a pigeon to transform it into a dove. This heavily promotes harmony, which may also create opportunities that satisfy her cravings for aesthetically pleasing designs. Secondly, 8 also does well with being a business owner. However, the best job for Cancer with her FN8 is probably an accountant. Both this sign and this number are good with numbers. In real life, I have even worked with a now retired Sun in Cancer. She was quite good at keeping the books well in order. And now for the good stuff, which is the number 4. Her intro is included in 2 arrows, which will be explained in a later video. However, their names are Arrow of Practicality and of the Will. 4 is a second number on the physical plane. She is the dogmatic builder. As you probably noticed from the other videos, I prefer to call the even number she and the odd numbers he. However, 4 is somewhat tricky because she is good about taking action when following orders. Then again, Cancer and Capricorn are both good about taking initiative too. It is their inner strength that defines them. The same is true for 4 as well. She is quite obedient. As great a strength as doing is, doing it well is even better. This leads to her consistently employing down-to-earth attention to details, as she prefers to create material goods. However, she may also do well selling services too. If I explain this well, then you already know her strengths. However, in case I didn't, firstly, she is good about listening and obeying concrete directions. Secondly, she is a determined producer of products. Thirdly, she is concretely practical. When she expresses these strengths, she embraces her own soul. This brings about satisfaction. Plus, I have found that SU is most likely to make itself known when somebody is feeling particularly emotional. And by doing these things, brings about relief from that anxiety and stabilizes the emotions. Her weaknesses include not being willing to think outside the box. Yet this weakness makes her a more obedient follower. Secondly, she is too passive. She is unlucky to have a terrible leader, and she and her neighbors suffer. Thirdly, much like 2, she is also prone to accumulating too much wealth. This leads to her being a hoarder. Outer expression. The main difference between outer expression and SU is who perceives the 4. In the SU's case, she is aware of her own desires, whereas in the OE's case, her environment is aware of how she expresses what 4 symbolizes. They realize she is great about listening to concrete details as she determinedly creates products of high quality. Plus, they soon realize she is unwilling to think outside the box or be assertive about her own wants and needs. Lastly, is her FN, or rather, how she behaves if one's FN is 4. This technique may be found by adding your SU and OE. More detailed instructions on how to perform this are included in the description. She determines the job title, whereas the OE and SU determine how she responds to various aspects of the job. Furthermore, please note this commentator's usage of the word job. It includes hobbies, tasks, and professional duties. Basically, if one does something and that something has a clear objective, then it is a job. Given this definition, even playing a game is a job, yet the objective may merely be to have fun and relax. What does any of this have to do with FN4? Regardless of SU, FN, and or OE, 4 has the same 3 strengths and weaknesses. This technique merely determines how they are expressed. In this case, she makes for a great secretary, craftsperson, gardener, and assistant. She brings order and stability to all these tasks. In the case of a gardener, she learns to listen to her plants by noticing how they thrive under her care. Plus, she also can make a great chef as she prepares dishes for others. Lastly, what did you think of this video? Did any parts of it resonate with you? If so, what parts? And if you like the video, please subscribe and like it. Thank you, and I look forward to reading your comments.